Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 9 of Quest to Become Big on YouTube, and of course the very first episode of the Don't Start a Podcast podcast, yeah. Now, why is it called that? Yeah, well, yeah, these, it's because these fucking Australian people thought it best when they were going under first lockdown to patronise Australians, say, oh, don't start a podcast. We know you think your friends have great opinions on things? They really don't. No, it was quite a patronising video, and, you know, and and the stupid thing about it was that half of these people fucking have their own podcasts anyway. You think, talk about not practicing what you preach, eh? Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, that's the name, Not as much of a mystery as the Doctor, and well, I've told you before, 1 billion subscribers, and I'll tell you what it means, all right? Uh, so it's a new year. Personally, I think it's going to be just as shit as last year. Everyone's making out like 2020 shite, and we got Jamie Oliver, whatever he's called. What's he called again? That fucking late night talk show guy. What's he called? The British in America, Oliver something, isn't it? John Oliver, I think. Yeah, John Oliver. That's the one. Fucking Jamie Oliver. Don't know where I got that from. But yeah. Oh, we got to have Jamie. We got to have John Oliver even. Fucking yeah, again. We got to have him go and blow up a bloody massive sign that says 2020 on it. Didn't he do the same thing in like 2016 as well? Because he was upset that Trump got elected or something. I don't know. But yeah, like I say, I think this year's just going to be a shit. We're already under lockdown again, and it's only a bloody first week. You you see, I've just got a funny feeling about this vaccine. Something's going to go wrong with that. The variant's going to mutate further and making the vaccine ineffective. I mean, still get it, but obviously, in case I'm wrong, I don't want to. I don't know. I've just got that feeling. Yeah. So, yeah, YouTube videos. I said I was going to talk about a YouTube video in this one. Yeah, the point in this section is really I'll look back at like videos I've made before, and I sort of talk about them in terms of the sense of like, that was a good combination of words. No, but I'll talk about an old video, sort of, if I can remember it, and sort of give a bit of maybe a bit of trivia about what it was, about something that happened when I was making the video, or a bit of backstory to the video, or just stuff that I find, stuff that I think might be a bit interesting to the audience. And yeah, so today's video, what am I going to talk about today? You might think for the first podcast it'd be apt to talk about the first video. Well, I'm not going to do that. I deny the existence of any video before 2012. All right. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. Maybe in a different one I'll do that, because that could be interesting to how I got into YouTube and things. But for this one, I've gone with a video that got 30 views. Yeah. So you probably haven't seen it. Yeah, the video I'm talking about is, of course, which one of the 200 do you think? No, it's the I've seen your videos video. That's the title of it. I'll leave a link in the description as well. So if you want to see it and kind of understand what I'm on about, then fine. Yeah, so how I came up with the idea for this video was, well, basically I'll give you a bit of backstory first. So, yeah, basically what happened there was a few work colleagues realise they've not got me on Facebook. You know, one night when we were on a Christmas night out. You know, I used to work for this company where they give you fuck all the rest of the year, but at Christmas it's like, oh yeah, here's a bloody, you know, free night out and a free meal, which isn't really free because you've got to pay for the fucking travel costs still. So yeah, free apart from the fucking £10 train fare. Yeah, yeah, very nice. Uh, um, yeah, so they realise they've not got me on Facebook. You know, and it's weird with me on Facebook because for some reason no one can bloody find me on there. You know, they always say, oh, you know, we can't bloody find you and all this. And yet when I search me, I find me. So it's, I don't know. But yeah, so yeah. Yeah, I'll let them add me on Facebook and yeah, obviously once one of them adds you, they all find you then, don't they? And yeah, because of the mutual thing, typical. But yeah, so they all want me on there. Now, I used to post my YouTube videos to my main Facebook page, which you never want to do, you know, because you know obviously your family and friends can find it. It's just very embarrassing, Facebook in general. You don't want your family and friends seeing stuff you make. No, it's completely humiliating. Yeah. But yeah, so they discover my videos naturally, and yes, someone comes into work one day and says to me, "Hello, Tim," or should I call you Jack? And you just have to facepalm at that point. It's like, oh god, yeah. I just sort of said, I don't know, yeah, I don't know. And she seemed to fuck off pretty quickly and get on with, you know, whatever she was doing. Yeah, that was embarrassing. But yeah, so that's the backstory, I suppose. And and basically how I came up with the idea was basically one day my manager sees me and this is like the first day back after Christmas, but before New Year, you know, it's that horrible week, you know. And he says to me, "Oh, I've seen your videos, yeah." And you know, and I ask him which ones, you know, and he says, well, there was a lot of swearing in it, you know, and it's like, well, that could be any of them, you know. And it annoys me when people do that because it's like, you know, you're saying you've seen my videos, but then I ask you a simple question about them, and the conversation is like, I don't know, yeah. It's like, I mean, I just find it a bit insulting, you know, because I feel like, you know, I mean, I don't mind talking about my videos, at least not as much as I used to, but yeah, I mean, personally, the way I see it is you're going to find it very insulting, aren't you, if someone comes up to you and tries to talk to you about something, and then you ask them a simple question about it, since they seem to be a fucking expert, and yeah, they fall flat on their face. You know, it's a simple fucking question. What have you seen? You know, what video have you seen? Just tell us something that happened in the video. You know, it doesn't even have to be like a video title. Just give us like you know, maybe a vague, not even an exact quote, but you know, a vague quote from the video, or you know, describe something that happened in the video. You know, rather than, oh, there's a lot of swearing in it. Yeah, well, I've made bloody over 200 videos, and it's like, you know, how can you fucking say that and expect me to know what you're on about? And he wound me up a bit with it as well, because he kind of went, oh, if you'd have had as much confidence when you were doing the presenting as you had in those videos, that, you know, job opportunity could have gone better for you. So it's like, yeah, thanks. You know, bad enough you bring up my videos without being able to tell me anything that happened in them. Now you're fucking rubbing my nose in about an opportunity that I couldn't get because I'm a shy bastard. Fucking cunt. Yeah. It's just ridiculous, you know. At least with the other woman that said, or should I call you Jack? At least with her, you know, she's seen one of the Jack Strangford ones, yeah. You might not know exactly which one, but you know she's seen at least one of them anyway. Yeah. And so I just found it quite frustrating. And yeah, so yeah, the video is basically based on that interaction with him, where it was like, just yeah, it, I don't even understand why you'd bring him up if that's the case. I mean, to me, I felt like he hadn't seen my videos at all because he couldn't even say anything. Yeah, like I showed my videos to another group of people in the Discord, and that I'm in recently, and at least they were able to say stuff about him. Oh, the politics joke one. Oh, you know, oh, he's singing in that one. She didn't tell me which fucking video she was watching. She's just like, oh, he's singing in that one, and then I ask her which one, and she's like, oh, there's multiple videos of you singing, is there? And it's like, well, at least she fucking got the singing bit anyway. So she at least knows what she's talking about. But it's like, I mean, that's just what annoyed me. It's like, yeah, like the vaguest fucking thing he could have said. That doesn't even hold up to the most basic question. Yeah, it actually happened with another member of the management as well, where he just came in one day and said, "I've seen your videos," and I asked which ones, and he said all of them. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, because you got to remember, I probably made about 200 videos back then as well, so it's like, yeah, 200 videos on the Doctor Hand plus the 200 on the Cheesecake channel before that got hacked and the cunt deleted all the videos on there, and now I can't get access to it. Plus the 8-part Shrek 2 4-player co-op let's play on Mr. Witchy 92's channel, which has sadly been deleted as well. Yeah, so you've seen all them, have you? Because the thing is, right, I feel like I've made so many videos that the only person who's going to have possibly seen them all is me. And I trust me, mate. You're saying you've seen all my videos. I've forgotten a hell of a lot more about my videos than the amount of my videos you've fucking seen. Let's get that fucking straight, mate. Yeah. And it's just about the frustration of like, and I feel like it doesn't just apply to when you make videos either. It can apply to like just anything where like you might have a vast knowledge on something, and someone tries to speak to you about it, and yeah, the conversation dies pretty quickly. Yeah, that's about it with that, really. Yeah, and oh yeah, and I made the Tatiana Maslany joke in that one as well. I noticed. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want that explaining, but yeah, basically it's a Orphan Black reference. I mean, if you watch Orphan Black, you get the reference, but yeah, so there's no real point me going any further. Watch Orphan Black, you get the reference. Sorry. Yeah. And I say in that video at the end that I only had one like on my Facebook page. Yeah, I've got like 26 now. So I don't know where all them have come from. Definitely not come from the videos, I can tell you that. So I don't know who they think I am. I've never had 26 people watching my videos regularly, so I don't know who these people are. But yeah. Oh well. I mean, if they want to follow me, fair enough. But yeah. But I feel like if they're expecting medical information, they're going to be heavily disappointed. They really are. So yeah, if you want to, you've got a vague idea now of what the podcast is going to be like. So yeah, if you're interested in this, you want to see another podcast. I'll tell you what, let's get a like goal this time. Let's say 5 likes. Yeah. But, that might not sound like much, but trust me, it's a lot for this channel. So 5 likes, and I'll do a second podcast. I've already got some ideas for the second one. I really don't want to use up all my good ideas in this one. So yeah. So we've done the intro, obviously. We've done the New Year bit. YouTube, 5 likes for another podcast. Well, it's probably time for the part of the podcast that I've been trying to avoid for a long time, and that's the bit where I talk about loneliness. Now, I've been avoiding talking about this because I feel like it can be quite depressing, and it might not be as light-hearted as you come to expect from me, but yeah. Oh, and I'm getting a bit down talking about it, but I think it's important because I think a lot of us, with the lockdowns and the fucking restrictions we've had to put up with this year, I think loneliness has been a much bigger issue than it might have otherwise been for a lot of people. And yeah, and so I wanted to talk about that and talk about my experience with it because yeah, I think that's important. Um, I think for me, the one thing that I've always struggled with really is really staying in contact with people. Particularly after you leave like a place of work or somewhere like college or wherever, work in college, and yeah, I don't know. Even people you really got on well with, you seem to lose contact with pretty quickly. I think for me though, one of the issues is that I always tend to, I've always tended to either study or work in a different town to the one I live in. So pretty much everyone that I've worked with or studied with has lived somewhere else. And it's like, are you going to travel down and see them on your day off? Probably not. And vice versa. And I think it's hard because sometimes you think about it. When you leave a job, for example, you go from seeing these people 4 or 5 times a week to like 4 or 5 times in your life, for the rest of your life, like after it, if you're lucky. So yeah, and it feels like a shame sometimes because you think about some of the people you worked with and you got on well with. Obviously, there are people you didn't like too much at work, but that's just how it goes, isn't it? Some people are cunts. That's just the way it is. um, yeah, and you just think, it's such a shame, but yeah, that's how life is, unfortunately. Yeah. Now, I think yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about was uh, when I was at college. Not so much when I was at South Cheshire College for my level 2 media course, but certainly when I was at Shrewsbury College studying a level 3. Um, I felt very isolated for the 2 years there. Now, I've never really had any real life friends, except for when I was in school, really. But even then, I kind of lost touch with them after year 8. Basically, with that though, um, you know, something happened early in high school that meant I don't want to get too far into it because it's kind of personal, but yeah, something happened where unfortunately me and my friends ended up being in different tutor groups, and yeah, so we didn't end up having the same lessons most of the time, and because of that, you kind of have to put in a bit of extra effort during break to meet up with each other, and eventually that's kind of stopped happening, and yeah, so yeah, I didn't have friends for most of high school, unfortunately, but that's how it is. Yeah, and so basically, yeah, I just skip forward to college again. I found the 2 years at Shrewsbury College very isolating because, um, well, basically there was 10 of us on the course, and it went down to 6 for the final year, but at the start there was 10, and yeah, just for some reason they wouldn't talk to me, um, and they just ignored me basically the whole 2 years, and and I'm sure they weren't like doing it to purposely, you know, make me feel down or anything like that. I don't think they did anyway. But for me, it felt like, I felt like what have I done wrong here to offend them? Because they would just it got to the point where, you know, they'd see me sitting on one side of the room and they'd be like, right, we're fucking off to the other side of the room, yeah. So they wouldn't even sit, never mind sitting next to me, they wouldn't even sit anywhere near me, you know. So it's like, and yeah, it just felt quite harsh because I felt like, you know, I felt like at the start of the first year we were, you know, getting on quite well. You know, I was making jokes, they seemed to be laughing at them. But yeah, you know, the conversation seemed to die pretty quickly as well. And then after a while, you think, why am I putting in the effort then? If you're just gonna, you know, do a little chuckle and then that's it, basically, yeah. And it just felt quite unfair because, you know, because you're all friends with each other, you know, and yeah, I'm sort of on the outside looking in, and it made it all the more difficult actually when you're asking for them to help with your projects, you know, to helping you film it or whatever. Yeah, because they'll all help each other, and you know, and I was willing to help them if they needed it, but yeah, for some reason when it come to me, it was like Herculean effort to fucking ask them, you know, like yeah. I remember one time actually, I was struggling to figure out what to do in terms of getting people to help me, and the tutor sort of had this slightly embarrassing moment, admittedly, where, you know, he kind of asked, "Does anyone want to help Tim with his project?" And the whole class remained silent, you know. And you know, I'm not being funny, but do they have any idea what that's like when, you know, I need the help, and they all just sit there in silence like that, you know. Yeah, and then one guy says he'll help, you know, but it was sort of like it felt like the scene in The Office where David Brent goes, "Who wants to come for a drink with me to show?" You know, and then Tim eventually says, "Yeah, I'll have a drink with you." Yeah, yeah, it kind of felt like that really. So yeah, very humiliating. And this is the thing with me. I feel like I'm willing to put up with a lot more shit than other people might be willing to put up with. Like that was completely isolating for me and quite depressing thinking back on. And but I think for me, I was focused on getting the qualifications more than anything, you know. Even though I was extremely lonely and miserable. Yeah, I think for me, I really just wanted to do the filmmaking. You know, I didn't want to bother with the digital graphics and the photography side of things. I mean, you know, like I say, I just wanted to do the filmmaking, and yeah, it just felt unfair to me that I'm having to do the photography and digital graphics and all the rest of it. Yeah, but I suppose that's how it goes. That's college for you. Isn't it? Yeah, to be fair, there were a couple of moments with them that I appreciated, like when they asked me if I wanted to come with them to watch the Ron Burgundy 2 at the cinema with them. I thought, yeah, yeah, I like that. And to be fair, that you know, I think we're kind of getting on well in the final sort of month or so of the course when I had to do the final major project and the Jack Strangford video. Yeah, they were very helpful with that, and yeah, I appreciated that. And I think for me, in a way, that kind of project kind of, from my perspective anyway, it was kind of like good to prove everyone wrong, because I feel like, at least from my perspective, I feel like certain assumptions were made about me, like, oh, he's lazy, or he's, you know, this and that, you know, he doesn't care, you know. And if those were assumptions, you know, maybe that wasn't the case, but it felt like that sort of was being assumed anyway. And yeah, I just hope with that short film I kind of proved them wrong at least a little bit, you know. Because the thing with me, right, is I've always found this, you know, but if I'm not passionate about something, then it's difficult for me to do a good job at it, you know. It really is. And you're not doing a bad job on purpose, but it's like, you know, I don't know. Do you kind of understand what I mean? Like, yeah, I just think it's like if your heart's not in it, then it's like, you know, you're going to do a bad job without realising it in a way. And yeah, even though you feel like you're doing everything asked of you, you know. Yeah. And I had to get the bus for 2 hours every time to get to college, and yeah, and so yeah, basically these people would be the only people I'd speak to all day if they spoke to me, and yeah, obviously they wouldn't unless the bus driver bothered talking to us, which of course they don't. You know, maybe a random girl will sit next to you on the bus and start talking, which of course never happens. So you know. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say I'm willing to put up with more shit than other people, because how many people would be willing to get the fucking bus for 2 hours just to go to college? Yeah. But, yeah. Oh well. And I think the problem for me is because I've been on my own for a long time. It's difficult for me to know where to turn when you need the help, you know. And sometimes you don't necessarily know what kind of help you need, you know. Like, you know you need some kind of help, but then someone will ask you, how can we help you with that? And it's like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, that's why I've come to you. You're willing to help, you know. Tell me what kind of help I need. I know I need help, but I don't know what kind of help, you know. Yeah. Like I say, you know, I just don't know if I did something wrong to offend them, or I don't think I did anyway. Yeah. And I think the problem is, now, the thing I've always thought is friends aren't everything, yeah, but they're a fucking lot of it, aren't they? I mean, fucking hell, you know, if you haven't got friends, you feel depressed and you feel fucking, you know, you lose your motivation. I mean, when I was on that course, I had zero motivation, you know, just because I think, you know, I was getting that bloody awful bus for 2 hours, and you know, when I got to college, I was having to study and be on my own all the time, and you know, with, you know, I mean, I didn't hate any of them on the course, yeah, but it's just, yeah, it's just that when they don't talk to you and that, you feel quite isolated, and like, you know, you feel like you must have done something to offend them, but you don't know what that thing is, yeah. Am I that much of a monster that you don't want anything to do with me? I don't know, but yeah, I feel like if you've got to know me, we could be quite good friends. But yeah, you just lose a lot of motivation and a lot of energy to be on the course, certainly, I suppose, and like that. Yeah, I don't know. I've got a tease next podcast now. You know, if we do it, you know, you understand. So yeah, one of the things I'm going to talk about next time, if we do another one, remember 5 likes, or we don't make another one. We, as if anyone else is here. Yeah. Yeah. If we get 5 likes, you know, I'll tell you the worst place in Shropshire and why, you know. Well, I'll tell you what the worst place is now, in my view. I think it's Wem, yeah. But I'll tell you why next time, you know. So if you want to know why Wem's the worst place in Shropshire, then, you know, remember, 5 likes, and I'll fucking tell you, you know. Yeah, I was thinking about talking about the worst job I've ever had next time as well. You know, and maybe this is a bit of a audience participation, yeah. What's the worst job you've ever had, and why? You know, don't just give a vague comment, or you know, it's like, what's the point? Tell us why it's a fucking the worst job you ever had, yeah. And yeah, I'll read it out next time. So yeah, that's the podcast. Thanks for listening. Yeah, and yeah. How do they normally end these things anyway? I don't know. I wanted to make it half-hour long because you know what it's like. Some of these podcasts go too long, don't they? Like fucking every frame's a pause, I think it is. That way it's like fucking 11 hours long. Who wants an 11-hour long podcast? You're not listening to all that, are you? Maybe if you want to listen to it on 3 or 4 speed, go ahead, but fucking you can't be watching that on normal speed, can you? Fuck you know. So yeah, hopefully this was enough to get you through the game you're playing now instead of watching the screen. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, maybe next time I'll do my film pitch. Thanks. Hopefully this blows up.